And welcome to this special Q&A we are calling Rejected Question. Today, I be, well, first of all, getting to know exactly what the players' characters were doing in this year that they had to get back to their home in Nadira. I, of course, am Vecna. I am the dungeon master for this campaign known as Chronicles of Nadira, and I am joined tonight by Sin, our player behind Uzmir. Say hi, Sin.
Hi.
Rocky, the player behind Riven.
Hello there.
Pat, the player behind Wolfriend.
Woo.
Woof. And here in a moment, Mavra, or Luca, the player behind Mavra. Get a bit confusing there. And then we also have in the call right now, his Callie. So I'm gonna call him Callie. But he has played in a few of our sessions now, including one of the one-shots as a large bear man, Bearbarian. Want to say hi?
Hi, guys.
Whoa, dude, you don't have to eat the microphone.
But it tastes good.
Fair enough. Okay, so pretty quickly here. So each of our characters was teleported to different parts of the world of Veth'Arden, and they have spent the last year journeying back to Nadira. So we're here to kind of delve into their individual stories. They've all been thinking up things that they did in their year away, the allies and enemies they may have met, challenges they've faced, and much more. So also, if people in chat want to ask questions, please go ahead. And then if the players have any questions for each other, feel free to ask. And or if you have questions about the world or stuff that's happened in game that you're just kind of curious about, there are some things I won't be able to answer for various reasons, but I will be happy to divulge what I can. So I guess let's start off with kind of the basic questions. Like, I guess, Sin, do you want to give like a brief overview of kind of like the high points of what you've gone through over the past year?
Make me go second. I've got to get the front door.
Make you go second. All right, fine.
Yep.
Riven, last time we saw you was actually in our last one shot. So you went off into the dark alleys with Aaron, a dark knight in the employ of the Harlequin Brotherhood. So what has Riven been like? What has he been going through in the past 6 months?
Well, at first it wasn't great. You see, Aaron brought back the demons of that Riven thought he had buried, which was the survival of his teammates. So, knowing that they couldn't survive, or they're out there somewhere, he went back working on his dream spell, which he had given up upon before Aaron showed up. And this took a lot of his focus, completing it, trial and error, trying to get it to work. Because it's basically a mix of his own inner magics and also the power that has been given to him in order to make this function. Which took a lot of his own energy and his own health, so to speak. And basically he would try and contact first Mavra, if not Wolfriend, and then Uzmir, and in case he has time, Victor. In that order specifically. He would try several times to get in touch with them using the dream spell. Not sure if he would succeed or not, but in case he does, his mental would be at least benefit a little from knowing that they're alive. He would at least try to groom himself more. He would try to take care of himself more. But most importantly, his focus would shift a bit, knowing that his companions are at least okay and alive. As for that shift in focus, it could be several factors. The first would be his father, trying to find more about him. What's he doing? What he's got to what's his involvement with the Iron Brand and with the demons, of course. And that sort of like shakes him a bit because he's quite certain he killed his father, but he doesn't know what his father is at the moment. Is he a changeling? Is he another demon? Like, what is he? So that scares him even more than anything else, to be honest. And he does remember that way back in I think before we even started streaming, about the quest about the murderers in I think it was like a sewer that Riven found out about, talking to, I think it was the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. Something like the Falcon's Reach or something. I need to get my notes to reread what the band was called, or the group that told him about it. But he does believe that there's a connection between all of this, and he does think that there may be even more demons lurking about in Elmakoth, and he wants to get to the bottom of this.
Okay, so starting out, I don't think the spell would have success for a couple reasons. The primary one being time zones. So when everyone else would be sleeping, except for maybe Victor, Victor and Wolfrun, because they could possibly be on a similar time zone. But like for Uzmir and Mavra, they are to the far east and west. So when it is daytime for you, it is nighttime for them, and vice versa.
Got it. Okay. But at least if you could contact at least one of the two that are on the same time zone, I think he would feel a bit much better, as in like mentally speaking.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be something that maybe one night when Wolfriend is sleeping, you come to him in his dream, and that could totally be something you guys can work out between each other. You don't have to do it right now, unless you want to. That's up to you.
Yeah, could be fun. Up to Wolfram, to be honest. Like, do you want to do the RP now? Or just, like, wait? We could just wait until the end, maybe. Like, get all the RP done at the end, maybe.
Yeah. So, moving into your father. So, a couple things. In the 6 months since we last saw Riven fighting and defeating the Bloodhawk, the Iron Brand has been in disarray in the Empire, and it has been very noticeable. And I think between Riven's own resourcefulness and, we'll say, eagerness instead of centricness or obsession, and finding out what the connection between his father and the Iron Brand, you find out that your father, or whoever is wearing his visage, is using his name, Orion Crestfall, and is a fairly high-ranking member in the Iron Brand at this, specifically serving Captain Cedric Ellaway out of the Felvain Theocracy.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, Riven would probably be very surprised by this. At least the whole part of the Iron Brand, because he never really, I don't think he heard his father mention the Iron Brand, maybe when he was youngling. So the fact that his father went that route does give him suspicious that something's either controlling his father, or something, or at least something is using his body for whatever purpose, for whatever reason, he does not know. His father is still a mystery to him, and that scares him.
So, learning this information, does Riven stay in the Empire? Does he go and try to seek out his father further? Does he go to the Theocracy by himself?
Well, at this point, he's still investigating Elmacoth in general. He feels that this is his like hideout, his base of operation, so to speak. And until he learns a bit more about where his friends are doing, or at least if they're alive, he would stay in Elmacoth, just hunting down Iron Brand members like one by one. He knows he can't take care of them like as a group, because he's one man. What can he really do, to be honest? But he would basically try and get any sort of hint involving demons or any sort of like connection between the Iron Brand and demons, because that really gave him a pause. The whole confrontation with Lust and was it Envy?
Oh yeah, it was Lust and Envy.
Yeah, Lust and Envy. So that whole confrontation gave him a bit of a pause. Like, this is a bit bigger than what he expected from the Iron Brand. Like this whole connection to demons.
I think part of that connection is shown through, like, you guys originally found the piece of Kalenroth in the Iron Brand hideout in the Blightwood chest. So, like, there's been a definitive connection between what's going on with Nocturne's fall and the prophecy, the Iron Brand being mixed in with that.
Yep. But at least in this case, this didn't really affect Riven, apart from, Mavra, his connection with Mavra and all that stuff. But, once could be a coincidence, but several times in a row, it stops being a coincidence, and now there's a connection. At least that's what Riven's thought process is at the time.
Right.
So now that he saw it with his own eyes, because at first it's just a bunch of like written words, a sword talking to them. Swords could lie. They could make up stuff. But in this case, this is very much real, and he could basically, see this demon in front of him, and he feels like he's ill-equipped to deal with such a threat. So he realizes that he needs to figure out a way to either stop the demons or at least figure out their weakness by attacking the Iron Brand directly, since they seem to be controlling it, or at least the other way around. The demons are controlling the Iron Brand. At least that's his theory.
And you do have Aaron, because Aaron, right? Aaron was instructed not to leave Riven's side.
Yeah, he was supposed to basically protect Riven until the party got back together, or he thought that Riven could take care of himself for the time. But I think we all know Riven enough that Aaron's not just going to be like, yeah, I think you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I mean, does Riven picked up?
Yeah, which are those items again? I think it's the scepter and was it the dagger?
It is the scepter and scepter and a dagger.
Yeah, Riven will not use it. He already has been cursed enough as it is, and Mavra would probably kill him. If at this point he doesn't know if she's alive or not, but her spirit would probably haunt him to his grave. And he does have connection to spirits.
There was also the blade of the Bloodhawk too. Silas had. Oh.
Yeah, it's just very difficult when basically his entire build is just spear based.
I know.
Yeah. So even though it would be really cool to see him use a sword, I think it'd be kind of cool. But
you just tape the dagger to the end of the stick.
Yeah, there you go. just put the sword, like the whole blade of the sword, onto his spear, and just make it like a double scythe or something.
Yeah, there you go.
But not until he knows exactly what it is, he won't probably touch it. Same with the armor. Though if it's like more of a leather armor, he probably would use that. Yes.
Okay. So Riven's whole motivation has just been wiping out the Iron last year. So, like, in the assumption of most of his friends, if not all of them, being, is there anything else that is driving Riven other than just blatant revenge? Like, does he see an end to it at this point?
There are several factors. It just depends on whether the dream spell works or not, and who he manages to get in contact with. That changes of quite a lot of things. Let's say he doesn't get in contact with Mavra, for instance, but he does get in contact with Wolfriend. He will still believe that, let's say Mavra, Uzmir, everyone else is alive. I mean, he has to assume it, otherwise he'll go into despair. But if that's the case, what he's going to be doing is several things, like side quests, so to speak. The first would be to locate Mavra's family, because he does believe that he owes that to Mavra in a way, to see if she's really is the last one, or maybe there's some in hiding. And if so, if Mavra really is dead, to give them the news, so to speak. The other little like side quest he is on currently has to do with basically trying to get in contact with basically Sky and see if Corso is surely dead, because he does have a slight feeling that he could be coming back for revenge if the job wasn't taken care of fully. He's seen a lot of bodies just pop up, and he doesn't trust things to stay dead. So those are kind of the two side quests he's on at the moment. But his most and also to see if there's any way to help himself against mental attacks, because he realized during the envy and lust fight that a lot of things didn't go quite as planned, as people kept hitting each other, mostly Pat's character. So to avoid that, and not Pat's character, sorry, Paris' character. So to avoid that in the future, he wants to at least see if there's any way that he could train to have those capabilities. In out of character terms, it's undecided whether Riven will go the path of a paladin, probably a watcher, maybe order a watcher, or continue on the sorcerer path. It just depends on several factors involving his journey to get there in the future, basically.
Like I said, I think that you probably would have been able to contact Wolfriend if you reached out to Victor, possibly Victor, but I know Victor was not the favorite of everyone in the party, so
Especially Riven, no.
yeah. So
I've been doing like this whole I've been doing like this Walking Dead Mass Effect like approval and disapproval type of thing, and yeah, Victor is not his most favorite person. Let's just clear that. Everyone else is okay. Just Victor is just like, it's like if he could leave the party, Riven would. Type of state with Victor. But I mean, he still doesn't want Victor dead, but it's not pretty.
Right. So I guess I feel like I've been pretty vocal about wanting you guys to also be able to like put things for. Were there any notable individuals or creatures that you came across during this time, other than like Aaron and the party that you briefly formed to fight lust and envy?
Well, I do have some ideas when it comes to that. I was actually working on it a few days ago when it comes to possibly a paladin order that has to do with like basically fighting against mostly Kalimrath and his minions.
The Order of the Ebon Fang?
Yeah. So yeah, but at least more of like instead of like vengeance based and cursed items based, it would mostly be more like watching type of stuff, like more of like let's call it the spies before Ebon Fang goes in and tries to eliminate them, so to speak.
I mean,
yeah,
the Ebon Fang does that too.
I know, but I just like something akin to that. I don't want to like copy Wolfriend's whole thing.
I think,
that's
but I think Wolfriend has full on offered to bring Riven into the fold of the Ebon Fang to kind of, make him see that there are ways to get things done that doesn't involve just blatant. Well, we all know what Riven has done in the past.
Oh yeah,
he kind of just gives into the power.
Exactly, but then Riven saw Wolfriend just go ballistic at the mere loss of his family. So Riven's like, "Well, you gave me this advice, but you're not really following your own advice," type of thing.
At the
It's,
mere loss of his family.
Hey,
Yes.
Riven lost his own family, so he has
You
a
killed your
new family.
dad.
That is
I
true.
will get back to this when we get to my segment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like I said, Riven can be wrong about this. Like this is just Riven's thought process regarding Wolfram. Like he knows he's a hypocrite. Like Riven is not. He doesn't believe himself to be a saint or like a pure sense of like, okay, my side is completely right. He knows that he is faulty, and that is basically his main disservice against himself is that he doesn't believe even in himself. And that includes his own words, his own actions. So in this case, Wolfram could easily be right, and I think Riven would have taken his offer if let's say he went through this whole arc with the gang, like the whole like envy and lusting with the party that he trusts. And I think he may, and if he does leave into Paladin aspect, I think he may ask Wolfram to see if he could join Deb and Fang. I do have a feeling that he would accept now that he knows the stakes. But this would probably be more of like a RP moment between Wolfram and Riven and how that goes. Like I said, I'm still undecided whether I want him to go to the Paladin route, or the complete sorcerer route, and it just depends on what he sees during that time. I do believe that like I said, I think he how do I say this? I think along the lines of like Corso and trying to find Corso, I think he would meet up with Sky as well, just to see how she's doing, because the last time he saw her, Uzmir chopped her friend's head off, which was very rude of him, I must say. Not the best reunion, but and I don't know if she would want to talk to him after that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. First of all, I don't think anyone mistakes Uzmir for being polite.
Oh yeah, like Uzmir's a Snime, so he doesn't go by the human rules.
But I think you probably can meet up with Sky. She has been working within Vox Tacit, the organization that Jonzor formed. Just gathering information, taking low risk missions. As far as her and Jonzor are aware, they threw Corso's body in the. So last time they saw, it was definitely a lifeless corpse missing a head.
Okay, so that's a great Dullahan moment there. Okay. Yeah, that's probably not going to bite us in the ass later. But yeah, after that, it just depends on who Riven sees. At least would any of the Ebon Fang actually be around El Makat at this point, or no?
So the Boars, the remaining members of the Boars haven't been seen since the prior events where they were attacked. One of them was slaughtered. Lunala lost her pregnancy, and they kind of, spread to the four winds. As far as other members of the Ebon Fang, there were a few individuals who made their way through, and they didn't really seek interaction, but you could have easily interacted with them and explained the situation. And from what you've been told, the Ebon Fang is on full alert for Talonroth and members of the Iron Brand, and are specifically looking for Zephyrion at the time.
Okay, yeah, because and was Aaron a paladin? I forgot if Aaron was a paladin or not.
Aaron is a paladin warlock.
Huh. Okay, so he may actually ask Aaron to teach him some tricks.
And that interaction with the Ebon Fang would have been early on. Would have been prior to Lust and Envy.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking too.
It would have been within a couple months of the Aether disaster, I would say.
Yeah, and I think at that moment, Riven would have been moving towards the vengeance side of things. But I think after, like I said, this is just depends on whether he can get a hold of anyone. And even then, I think he really believes that his friends are alive. And so he wants to at least hold the fort, so to speak, until they come back. And see if they can at least find a way to join up. But until then, he would basically try to pester Eren to at least teach him some tricks on, how to better hold his own in melee combat. Anything that how to use his radiant holy magics, because he believes that it's just he's allowing the power to control him and not him control the power, so to speak. Where he's like doesn't know what to do with it, just suddenly just burst out. So he wants to be able to control his magics better in order to at least be an asset to the group, because he does feel that he is the weak link, even if he believes that Victor is above him when it comes to prowess. And yeah, so he really wants Eren to at least teach him, and I think that's where he's going to get a lot of like his paladin stuff from, if he does go that route. Him and Wolfram being his mentors.
Okay. Well, let's jump over to Wolfram. And I don't know how much each of you have or written for this, but
Written? Absolutely nothing. But I do
absolutely
have
nothing.
ideas in my head.
All right, that's all that matters, right? Because then you can look back at this recording and be like, oh yeah, I vocalized this. All right, so I guess, Wolfram, what threats have you faced? What is the most daunting obstacle that you've had to face on your journey so far in this 1 year abroad?
Well, I think that really depends on, I guess where exactly his journey goes, or has gone, rather. As soon as he's able, he's making he made a beeline straight for the Theocracy to, the wolves' last known location to do some detective work.
Okay, so couple things here. So Falling God's the far north. So get from the edge of the Arctic shelf back to the northern coast of Nadira and the Theocracy. That's like a 2-month boat ride. Where you ended up in Fallen God was in the northern ice fields. So, and so map of Fallen God. be less blurry. Okay. I don't know if you guys have areas. So to the eastern side of Fallen God, you have Thalin's Spine, large mountain range. And you were between Thalin's Spine and Icenvale Lake, the area where you saw the large floating fortress-looking thing in the far distance. So to even get to the closest like active port, that's traveling through the wilderness for a month, maybe more, depending on if you were able to find guides. That's at least 4 months if you can get through the wilderness effectively and get a boat to the Theocracy. So I guess in that time, do you have any ideas of what you did while you were in Falun Gong? So this where you will red circle right.
Yeah.
And you would need to get to either Ulanfane or Harrigan to have any chance of getting on a ship that'll take you all the way to the Theocracy.
Yeah, well, whatever it takes. It's not like he's unfamiliar with traveling through the wilderness.
Right, yeah. So what were, I guess a better question is, do you have a general idea of your activities in Falun Gong while you were there?
Well, this whole situation really ends up being a bit of a return to form for him. Because before he met up with Morkala, he traveled Nadira, knocking out, small local villains, doing odd jobs for the Adventurers Guild. So most of what he's doing is that, again, stomping out trouble in any of the small towns he passes through, getting some coin if he can manage it, living simply like he used to.
Meet any notable figures that learned anything from, or that made your path more difficult? What, did you have a ribbon over there?
How do you mean?
Did they
Like
smell?
somebody who kind of just makes things more difficult.
It's true though. So.
He probably wouldn't have kept much company for long.
Right.
Because as soon as he was done with the party that helped him stomp out Wrath, he was out of there.
Yeah, and with Wrath, because there was the interaction at the end of the battle with Wrath, you were kind of in a three-way battle between yourself, Wrath, and the Dark Knight's Aegis. Has that kind of put Warren off of utilizing the Aegis at all, or has it not affected him at all in that fashion?
By no means is it going to stop him from utilizing it, but he's growing... What's the word I'm looking for? He's maybe cautious, reluctant,
Right.
wary of wary of it taking him over. Because well, he made a promise, but it was not one well considered.
True. I would say that the promise was made in the heat of a bit of anger. Maybe more than a bit.
Yeah.
But still, the deal was made. It was struck, and you have gained more power because of it.
That is true.
Managed
Although-
to defeat Wrath.
That is true. Though speaking of, the encounter with Wrath held up a mirror that Wolfrin did not much like the reflection of. So he has that to consider.
Boarding a ship to the Theocracy. That's a two-ship ride, damn near, through the greater parts of the Arctic Sea, and then landing in a port that is not friendly to most visitors, let alone well-known visitors such as yourself. How do you handle? Does anything happen on the ship ride over? Anything that would have any bearing on Wolfrind or his story thus far?
Likely not. Mostly just a lot of reflecting. Maybe some thoughts that he should take up the sword and shield. But beyond that, when he's, on a boat for 2 months, he's just keeping his head low, making himself useful, and hoping he doesn't draw too much attention when he lands in port, which, with the help of the Aegis and all of his training, he is well equipped to do.
Right. And then you have, because there was the blade, the very, very overly sized greatsword that Wrath wielded in his mortal form. And you had attempted to grab it and felt the power of the curse within and proceeded to wrap it up in your cloak. What became of it? Do you still carry it with you? Have you attempted to overcome its curse since the first time you tried to grab it, or?
Well, in truth, he is quite happy with his current sword. And I mean, he likely, as soon as he was able, he'd find a place to stash the massive fire greatsword. Maybe he can repurpose it somehow, but until then, it's just a lot of weight that he doesn't necessarily plan on using, but nor does he want to leave it behind
Just
entirely.
A looming weapon on his back that any enemy he faces wonders why he's not using it.
Well, I will remind you that his greatsword that he's been using thus far is
Fairly large.
pretty imposing in its own right.
It definitely is. There's no doubt that.
Besides, fire's less his style.
So, you land in Belvane. Specifically, the North Belvane. So this means a few things. First of all, you know that Captain Cedric Ellaway, a leader, one of the higher ups in the Iron Brand, is the captain in charge of Allcourt. So you would be landing in Leyworth, a coastal town on the very northern fringes of the theocracy. So to the south of you, you have Lake Ansburg with the Felvane Citadel, Allcourt Keep southwest, and Ansburg to southeast. You head towards direct confrontation with a man you know who's in the Iron Brand, or do you head for the last known whereabouts of your allies? And do you know the last known whereabouts of your allies? I know you got messages from 2 of them, but I didn't know, don't recall correctly, they gave you locations of which they were.
I don't think they did, but Wolfrind is experienced with having to sleuth stuff like that out himself. So while I'm sure it's by no means easy, he does still have access to information from what remains of the Ebon Fang. If they
So-
still talk to him.
We're 6 months in, 7 months, maybe. Do you go straight to the Ebon Fang and try to get a hold of them and figure out what the hell's going on?
Probably, yeah.
So it's at that point, and it takes you quite a while to get down to the Ebon Keep, where just 6-7 short months ago, there was supposed to be a meeting between your leadership and the leadership of the Brotherhood. And in the hushed oaks south of Langstad, you find the keep in shambles. Nary a sight of any member of the Ebon Fang.
Well, more detective work. Trying to get some inkling as to what happened. But
Looking through, it doesn't take long to realize that there was definitely a battle. And it doesn't seem more recent than maybe a few months. It's definitely been within the last 1 to 2 months that this battle overtook the. And looking through, the library's been cleared out for the most part. The only thing left untouched is the locked vault that only Fenrir had access to. It seems still locked tight.
yeah, Wolfrind knows better than to try and pick that lock on his own. He's never been much good at that anyways. So, note that's there, and off he goes on his own.
So at any point, does Wolfred look for his friends? I know we talked earlier that Riven would have been able to contact Brendan. Does that happen when Wolfred's in Theocracy or before? Or I don't know if you two want to work that out.
Yeah, I think that's something to be worked out.
Yep.
Either way, I don't think Wolfrind would link up with Riven intentionally. Like, Wolfrind has, at this point in time, found and lost 3 found families. He's been through it. He just wants to be on his own for a while. And of course he still goes around the theocracy looking for where the other wolves fell. But it's
I
well,
think
I suppose
eventually you do find, looking through a logbook towards that was left hidden inside the keep, you would be able to find the listings and locations of the catacombs that the Ebon Fang kept. And maybe you just start fucking going through each one, and eventually you do come across the one towards the north, just south of Walden, and you find the remnants of the battle that took place. The bodies of a couple of your allies still laying there, but one missing.
well, I got the impression he wouldn't find the bodies of any of them. I don't think Zephyrian would be wasteful like that.
Zephyrion said that he was only taking the girl.
Well,
So the bodies would probably be chewed up, would they not, Uzmir?
Yeah, that little demented fucker would have probably ate them.
So it'd be more of the remnants of their corpses than anything else.
well, it doesn't do to leave them out in the open like that, so after a burial for each of them, he moves on.
And I thought, and this was maybe in the things when very intent on severe revenge. Did Wolfram not have any intention of bringing these people back?
Well, you're right. He does. He doesn't exactly have the means.
Oh, and you wouldn't find anyone in the theocracy with the power who would be willing to bring them back, at least, back to living state.
So,
So if you wanted to bring them back, you either need to, it'd be a matter of finding a cleric strong enough and forcing them into it, or you would have to carry these bodies to a region that was more willing to work with you.
well, I don't know. I still got the impression that, barring a wish spell, none of them are coming back.
No, the only one who needs a wish spell is the one who was turned into a zombie, because you can't normally turn a zombie back to a living creature.
Yeah.
The others haven't been touched by undeath, and so therefore, I mean, revivify is not going to work, but a resurrection spell or something of the like would feasibly work.
Yeah. Well, in that case, he knows the location of, the others' bodies. No one outside the Ebon Fang and I suppose the Iron Brand know this place is here.
Correct.
As far as the Iron Brand is concerned, this place has been long since cleared out.
Yeah.
And, well, Ebon Fang's nowhere to be found. So he'll try and protect their remains best he can. and come back for them later.
Okay.
Search for the people who did this. Search for anyone who can fix it. And that's probably how he ends up spending his time up until, we all get back together.
Right, and you find the bodies pretty close to the, but no luck tracking down Zephyria. And you follow leads, but the Iron Brand has been relatively quiet. And don't have a lot of sources of geography now that you can't get a hold of the Ebon Fang. So you probably make your rounds, frequenting the areas that you're familiar with, trying to stay under the radar and get possible.
Mm-hmm. More alone than ever.
Oh. You go back to the family farmstead?
He probably passes by it a few times. At least once. It's not necessarily a place he likes to visit, but, well, it's there. Worth it to pay his respects.
Okay. Luca and
Yes.
their elves that you.
Not all of them.
That was the dogs.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, I've played Onis too. I've actually played more Onis than anything else.
That's not true.
Way more
Definitely
Onis.
more elves.
You've played one Oni. You
Two.
played. No, one.
Shimo was an Oni.
Who?
Shimo.
Shimo.
From the one shot, she was the water Oni. So I have to do everything around here.
There's not a water Oni.
Yeah, there's not a water Oni.
She wasn't water Oni, she was the frost Oni, but she was the water breathing.
What one shot?
It was the one where we were already dead. We were all level 20.
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't count.
You. Remember she was resistant to everything, it pissed everyone off.
Yeah, you still haven't played more Onis than anything else. You've played 3 elves.
3?
Yeah.
Mavra.
Or 4.
Wait, hold on, there's Mavra, and then there's Elfie. And then there was
Lilith
that one. Lilith.
from the school competition one shot.
Wasn't
Oh,
she an
yeah.
elf in the one where we was in feudal Japan too?
Yeah, she was an elf in the feudal Japan one.
Wait, which Feudal Japan one? I don't remember
The
that
level
one.
20 one.
Yeah, where we was an ancient Kozuka.
I don't remember that.
Well,
It's
I
just
do.
her being an elf is just her natural state. Oh, we lost Riven.
Racky.
It's probably because he lives in Panama.
Well, no, yeah, but we know where he is. So where is he?
Does he actually live there though? We've discussed this before. He's possibly just an AI.
I'm
sure
saying
he's just an
his server is clearly in Panama.
No, strangely enough, his server is in Madagascar,
His server's in Madagascar.
guarded by an army of lemurs. And they do like to move it. So, Mavra, you ended up in Kozuka
I did.
with a familiar face,
I did.
Hero, formerly known as Mouse Cop. I mean,
Mouse
Amatsu Mikaboshi.
Or Mouse Cop.
Matsu Mitsubishi.
Yeah. Of Governor Mitsubishi Honda Civic.
Oh, it's my favorite one shot I've served on.
So, what did that look like? So, Mavra, you are to the far east of Nadira in a beautiful land that is on the brink of war.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you give us a brief description of what Mavra's got?
So Malva, after they defeated the big bad and were able to continue on their journey, um, it was like, you know, a pretty long ride on some dinosaurs. And they took time to help people on their way to try to, you know, stabilize the region with everything that's going on, like on their way, because you know Malva doesn't mind lending a helping hand because she hates seeing people suffer. Um, so while they were doing all of that, she, you know, ended up getting gifted a bunch of fine silks, and she got gifted a kimono from one of the village people that she helped save. She did hunting along the way too, and you know, like she did at the old times, and was joking around with Shiro and his crew about how it was just like old times when she would, you know, hunt and cook. And she kept the pelts so that way she could trade them when she got back to Nadira. That's pretty much what happened. They were doing that all the way until they got to the docks where she could board, and she boarded a trading vessel, so she gets to learn a bunch of new neat stuff on her way back to Nadira.
Bring it back to Nadira, and she's only going to use boat directions, like port and starboard. Were there any big obstacles I had to?
Oh yeah, there were some gigantic freaking monster deities that sprung up, mostly due to, you know, the destabilization of the region that she had to fight. And then there were also some of the other lords from other clans that were beefing with Shiro that they had to deal with on their way.
And ultimately, Shiro lost and died. That was sad.
I mean, you're the DM.
We all mourn Shiro's death. Death by
We do.
rocks.
Yes,
Rocky is
Shiro died,
back.
and somehow she still made it to the boat. It's crazy.
I mean, just head towards the water. Boat.
Water's everywhere.
A rowboat.
Is
And-
it though?
Yeah. Is it? This seems like a cop out.
I don't think water's everywhere.
Well, I don't know. Depends.
Did you make any? Like, did you forge any alliances, rivalries that might follow you back to Nadira?
Yeah, tons and tons of rivalries, tons and tons of alliances.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, every lord that she fought hates her fucking guts, and all of the people that she liberated absolutely adore her.
They're all gonna follow you back to Nadira. It's just a boat full of all the people that like Mavra, and there's a boat following them full of all the people that now hate Mavra.
I thought you meant metaphorically, not physically.
Now, Palat's journey.
Yeah,
Palaf's
you did
journey,
lose Palaf along the way.
He's been living in a pocket, living his best life.
No, because I said all the members of Morkala were teleported to different areas, so that means Palaf too. We still have to do his one shot.
Palaf
God.
one shot, let's go.
We kind of should.
Pull off
We're-
one shot
The
where we all play
weird thing
different woodland
is,
critters.
the
Yeah,
weird thing is that the Ploth one shot's called the Tale of Two Cats.
I think now, I think it's been spoken into existence. We have to do a Palaf one shot where everyone plays little critters.
We're all level 1 critters trying to survive.
No,
I play a wild magic sorcerer bunny.
Are you kidding me? Ploth's been through hell. He's way more than level 1. He's at least like level 5.
No, he is not. Paloth should be dead. You're lucky he's not.
Gets blessed immortal rat. DM is mad when the rat's immortal.
Wait, what'd you say about an immortal rat?
I said, I get blessed immortal rat, and you're mad when the rat's immortal.
No. The rat was not immortal until it kept surviving things because I was nice and not a dick.
He's immortal.
He is amortal. You're correct.
Immortal.
No, I think a Paloth one shot would be fun and would give me a good way to kill off that rat. So let's put it in the books.
Wow.
So we know Wolverine or Pat's gonna be playing a bunny sorcerer. So let's just rail this off. Mavra's obviously playing Palath.
Oh my god.
Stop
trying to kill my rat!
I'm playing a bearded dragon.
Alright, Uzmir's a bearded dragon or sends a bearded dragon. Rocky, what kind of little critter are you being?
He'll be a weasel.
Alright, he's a little weasel. I don't have Para here, so I can't ask him. Callie, what kind of little critter would you be if you were to take place in this one shot?
What are my options?
A little critter.
Anything.
We have
Pick
a
an
rat.
animal.
We have a rat, a bearded dragon, a bunny, and a weasel.
Let's make it the weasel.
I are weasel.
Wait.
Oh, Leal said someone is going to play a badger named Obi the Rat. No, that's a NPC.
Like a mongoose?
You'd be a mongoose?
Fuck yeah.
This sounds fun already. There's this one-page RPG, and it's called Crash Pandas, and it's about you play little critters who build like Mad Max style garbage cars and race.
Stop trying to kill my rat. It's mean.
Well, just make sure he doesn't die in the one shot. Make good
Okay.
choices.
Ploth
Make
runs
good
away.
choices. Well, that was a bad choice. He died.
Dang. Tough
He
crowd.
stayed and fought. That was a bad choice. He died.
Okay, so we'll get into what Palath is doing on his sabbatical later. But how does Mavra feel at the end of this year when she gets back to what is the first thing that she does?
Well, so the ship lands in Sylvanas. So she kind of feels a little bit of nostalgia and homesickness because Sylvanas is where her grandmother was because she was right hand to the Queen of Melda.
Wait, I have a question.
What?
All right, so and Kozika is to the far east of Nadira.
Yeah.
And Sylvanas is the port on the farthest west side of Nadira. So is this boat going all the way around Nadira?
No. Remember I asked you the question if it's far east like Europe or far east like US?
You're breaking up really bad.
Hello?
Now I can't hear you at all.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, that's why I asked you that very specific question about if you meant far east like the US or far east like Europe.
That's not helpful at all. What does that have to do with you landing in Sylvanas?
Okay, because if Nadira is far east from Kozuka like the
No,
US.
other way around.
Oh, see, that's why I asked you to begin with, because I was
said
writing.
Kozuka is to the far east of Nadira.
Yes, but
Nadira is not to the east of Kozuka. The other way around.
Yeah, but it's to the It's to the west. Nadira is to the west of Kozuka.
Kozuka, correct.
Right. So west is on the left, if you're looking at the map. Right.
Yep,
So it's like
I know which way is west. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So if you're coming from the Far East, and you're going west, you're going to Sylvanas.
No, what? Because you still hit Nadira. You hit the. Okay. This is great.
That's
Let's
why
do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'll show you because I think there was a misunderstanding here. Go into roll
There's
20 real
clearly a
quick. Hey,
misunderstanding.
go into roll 20 real.
I can. I'm cooking.
Why can't you?
Because I'm cooking. Want me to burn my food?
Well, open up the stream.
Okay, I can do that.
2 circles.
Oh, is it in Microsoft Paint?
Yeah. It's in Microsoft Paint. All right. Do you see the 2 circles?
No, I'm not. I don't have the stream open yet. I had to grab my phone.
That's not Microsoft
Okay,
Paint.
stream is open now.
All right.
Yeah.
K is for Kozuka. N is for Nadira. Okay.
Uh-huh.
We'll put a little S over here for Sylvanas.
Uh-huh.
So for you to go from Kozuka to Nadira, why is that white?
Uh-huh.
Change this color.
Wow, racist.
You're gonna go Kozuka, that did not do that. Kozuka to Nadira.
Uh-huh.
If you wanted to go from Kozuka to Nadira but land in Sylvanas, you would have to hit this side of Nadira and then go all the way around the southern side of Nadira to get to Sylvanas.
Helpful. That's helpful, because that's why I asked my question. So that makes Nadira close to Kozuka, like Europe, not the US. Thank you. I have my answer now.
I asked for
Never mind.
clarification. No, wait. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I asked for clarification, and this is what Luca said.
Wait, watch him gaslight all of you and intentionally
this is what she said. She said, "Okay, but Far East like the U.S. or Far East like Europe?" And I said, "It's like a close to a month and a half to maybe 2-month boat trip." And she said, "No, what I mean is like if you're taking a boat trip, is it so far east that going even more east to hit the continent is faster, like Japan to the US? Or is it far east like taking a boat back west is faster?" And I said, no, taking a boat back west is not faster. So I don't know where the confusion for you is there. Because it sounded like you went west from Kozuka to get to the Sylvanas place. After I even said, no, taking a boat back west is not faster. Are you sufficiently gaslit?
I'm sufficiently gaslit. Thank you so
Cool.
much, DM.
Glad we had that. Anyway, so you landed in Sylvanas because you wanted an extra long boat ride. Then what happened? Wait, Sen, you were gonna say something.
No, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay.
Nice.
You don't fuck with Panji yet, Brain? Leave it alone.
I'm curious as to know what someone's gonna say now.
Oh, she's
We're all waiting.
no.
Come on, you can tell me I'm dumb. It's fine. I have come to peace with that with myself a long time ago.
Oh, you're not dumb. You was just like, what way is this? Oh, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of that then. But at least you propel the stereotype that women don't know their directions of east and west.
God damn.
Sir, it's port and starboard.
It's down that way to the big barn, and if you hit the creek, you went too far, and that's how you got to give directions, as if you're in the south.
No, the problem is the fact that I was overthinking the shit. That is the problem.
It's okay. All good in the hood.
Whoa, racist.
Not racist at all. You wear a hood. All
Whoa, racist. saying I'm committing crimes now? 'Cause I'm wearing a hood? That's
Zen
really fucked up.
says, quote, "You're not dumb, but you're dumb."
Tell him I said that he can go suck start a lawnmower.
He can hear you.
Well,
You
that's
can go
also
suck
his.
start a lawnmower.
That's also his favorite activity, actually.
Suck starting a lawnmower? That's incredible.
Yeah, it is actually incredible. I've seen it.
Yo.
It's his talent. He was on Britain's Got Talent. They wouldn't let him on America's Got Talent for obvious reasons, but Britain's no hold bars. So
Oh,
okay, so do you, Mavra, are there any like lingering fears or concerns that you're currently dealing with about returning to the continent of Nadira, and possible like because you don't have any idea if your friends are alive or what? So what's going through Mavra's head as she's making her way back?
oh, lots of anxiety because she's remembering everything that everybody was going through. You're welcome. Sorry I can't hear you.
The voices are getting worse, guys. I told you we should put her in a home.
Whoa, leave me and my early onset dementia alone. um, so she knows what everybody is going through, and what they were going through, and she knows that something was up with Wolfern, so she's like especially worried about him. Not only because, you know, they, to her knowledge, at the very least, she didn't make it, and she knows that, you know, they'd be worried about her if they're still alive. But like wondering what all happened with him getting back to the Ebon Fang and Ebon Keep, and wondering if they made it there, wondering if they got separated too, wondering if they got, you know, launched to a different part of Kozuka and she just couldn't find them.
So while moving through Melja, does we encounter her?
Nope, because she does not go to Umbra. She is immediately hightailing it back to the Hecker Empire.
All right, well, let's move over to Uzmir then. So, Uzmir, you got trapped in Rolvath Barrens initially in Ranheim. Had a little escapade with some people who only one of which survived your Kabish. What does Uzmir's journey look like going from killing the Arbiter of Gluttony to getting back to?
So, first off, Granheim's desert wasteland, and there's the raiders that are all over the place.
Right,
And
the Dashivel.
Yeah, so they were hunting me and Kabishi, who chose to travel together for as long as we could. She promised to help me get home. But we were being hunted by the Dashivel quite often. And in one of those raids that took place, Kabishi was very badly wounded. She didn't die, don't worry. But in the time, Uzmir definitely got pretty fucking angry, I guess is the way to put it, and kind of succeeded to the monster that lived inside. What English is hard. And kind of went full, I'm gonna rip and tear everybody apart. And with that, in case, well, I mean, nobody would know, I have been making wisdom saving throws throughout the course of all this, unfortunately, and I rolled a nat 1, everybody.
Well, that's great.
So, had a little bit of my entity taken away by the Harbinger. And from there, that's what caused me to go into the actual like monstrous state. Was the Harbinger took over for a moment, and I destroyed a mini of people in front of Kabishi, which probably mentally scarred her just a little bit watching the carnage that it was. But she stuck with me for quite a while after that. I was struggling to keep control over everything at this point. I did notice that part of my memory started to fade away. It started off with, like more childhoodish memories of back when I did live amongst the elves with Mavra as a child and etc. And I noticed that it was pretty much up to the point of meeting Morkala, which is the more present, that I've started to just lose bits and pieces, starting with like people's faces, minor things that would have happened in life, but they started to grow bigger, of me not even really remembering living with the elves. I did realize what was going on, thankfully, and that the Harbinger's Embrace, which is the mask, the item that I have that causes this, the entity to be able to take hold. And so I stopped using it, or at least tried to prevent myself from using it as much as possible. Though it is like a gnawing hunger in the back of my brain now of I could use it to gain that power and to continue on and just be that force. It was in the I did go through Zahin's Landing, which is a blackened area with toxic air, and at this point I did decide that I couldn't take Kabishi with me any longer. I had realized that I was becoming a danger, not only to her, but to just about everybody, and myself included, and parted ways with Kabishi before traveling through the Ashen Lands. Yeah, pretty much at that point I went through some fucked up shit.
And so now, just having to do with this kind of reality of personality side. I know I told you that you would start seeing flashes of Harbingers. Well, has that affected?
At this point, he hasn't quite realized that it's the Harbinger's memories yet, because he's used to the Night Mother kind of giving him glimpses of what could be, and he hasn't quite put the two and two together of, oh, this isn't the future, this is the past.
So from Zahin's Landing in the Ashen Land, there is the mountain city of Angmir, built in the volcano in the center. Of course, there's Del Fong, which is a port town. Is that where you from? Where are you leaving from?
I would have been leaving from Delfong. Still the wrong side of the continent. Is it?
No, it's on the right side.
Oh, hell yeah. We're fine then.
Granheim's to the west of Nadira, so you could land at Sylvanas if you wanted to.
So,
it wouldn't be any longer of a trip.
Hold on. like west, like Europe?
Like the fastest way from Granheim to Nadira is to leave out of the east side of Granheim, and you will end up on the west side of Nadira.
No,
So-
I would have been leaving from Delfong and most likely ending up in Umbra,
Okay.
because that's where, that's one of the main port hubs of Nadira on that side. So
Yeah, it's the second largest city. Alright, so you would end up in Umbra. Wouldn't want to port up in Treffy? The
no, because
large
I'm already
port town on the
I was
eastern side of Nadira?
actually, that sounds way better.
Alright. Yeah, no. Getting to Umbra, Do you encounter any like turbulent or dangerous situations on the boat ride over? Because it is all of these boat rides are long distance. I know that you got one more transformation because you ate the rattle drake.
Right.
Does Uzmir have any? Because I can go over with you like creatures that are in the Ashen Lands, or if you ate some sort of sea creature.
I definitely think there would be some added stuff there, just because, one, I'm in the desert and I'm fucking hungry. And we don't let things go to waste.
How do the people in Umbra react to your sand crawler, sand ripper?
Oh, they are shocked. They have no idea what the fuck that thing is.
Is it
It
any worse
is-
for wear? Because I mean, you said that you've been encountering the Dashivel, and they're the ones who made the sand ripper. They had some of their own, obviously, but is it any worse for wear than what it was when you got it?
It would have been worse for wear, but throughout all this, and through me finally realizing after this fucking 11 months in Granheim that I could also pay people to help me fix it. And so before I brought it over, it is in the best condition it's probably ever been.
Got it. You had a bang up repair job done on it in Delphon. Departing. Mint condition sand ripper has never been seen in history of Granheim. Until Uzmir got there.
I just said best condition it's ever been. I didn't
Look,
say
guys,
mint. Let's
it's
be
got-
honest here.
It's got spinning rims. Alright, so you arrive in Umbra and beeline it to the Empire? What does that journey look like?
No, I would have definitely stuck around in Umbra for at least just a little bit, just because I went through a pretty traumatic experience while in Granheim. And being back on familiar turf was a very big sigh of relief. So I stuck around there, probably picked up a couple of odds and ends to get myself back on my feet, and then started heading back towards El Macath because my assumption would be that's where most of the group is going to be heading back to, back to a known location, most likely the Boar's Rest. Of if we get separated, we should go to a similar spot that we all know.
So, I guess getting to
I plead the fifth, Your Honor.
So I guess we'll just go. I'll let anyone answer, but in what ways have your characters, I guess, evolved over the past year? How are they different than when we saw them last? And this can be like physical, mental, demeanor. Like what kind of change are we seeing as like viewers outside looking in on these characters that we've last 115 hours of?
I guess I could start. So Uzmir, first off, mental state. After going through what he has, and with the Harbinger pretty much right nipping at the back of his brain all the time now, he, after getting his sentience from being a slime, has always viewed himself as more wanting to be like the humans and wanting to fit in with them more and have that sense of humanity. Since the split in his brain has occurred, it has brought more of the monstrous side out of him. He's a lot easier to anger, a lot more willing to do I don't know if I'd say willing. It's just he's more prone to doing things with monstrous tendencies compared to trying to keep that humanity in check.
Just more volatile as a whole.
Yeah, more volatile as a whole. And with this kind of descent into a bit of madness, his physical appearance has become a little bit more harbinger-esque. The cracks have gotten deeper. They've started to spread more across his body, and he definitely has a very damaged look. He's damaged goods now.
What about you, Riven? What ways has Riven evolved and changed over the past year? Would be noticeable to viewers outside looking.
Well, let's start with the physical. Since we last saw Riven, he was pretty much mangly. He didn't really care about himself, his physical look. His stench got worse. And in fact, he just looked pretty much like a drowned rat 24/7. Now though, his look has changed a bit in terms of at least his beard. He groomed it now. It's now quite a bit shorter than it used to be. Or at least it's much more well taken care of. Yeah, well maintained. Yeah. His hair is still messy, but that's mostly because of the hairstyle and not just like, his physical. Not him like trying. And he is bathing now, which is surprising. Surprising to anyone that knows Riven. But yeah, he's a lot more well groomed, and you can naturally now see his like natural looks more. As for personality wise, he still struggles with confidence issues, but he really is trying to just push himself in a way that he has never pushed himself before. He's trying to be an asset to the group. He's trying to at least put the precious things that he cares about forward. Before he would be more like there, just like going through the flow, not really caring much about what's going on around him. Now he really is fully aware of his surroundings, as to say like, okay, this is my business now. I'm no longer just a passenger. This is basically my life, and I'm going to try to take a hold of it. This allows him to be a lot more confident. You saw a little bit of him just speaking out, trying to not second guess himself too much. But still, he is still a bit ruder than he was like before the break.
But he's ruder than he was? He was already pretty rude.
No, yeah, but before he was like trying to be polite, but now he's basically going from stage 2 to stage 1 again, and now he's just slowly getting there again. Because at the moment he really didn't care about friends, making partners so whatsoever. He's just fully just being an asshole, being a dick.
And then Aaron came along and they became bros, right?
Yeah, they became bros. I do think that they, because he doesn't really ask much, and or he's like talks a lot, as in like being annoying. So I think Riven would appreciate that. So I do think that they would at least become basically men at arms. He trusts Aaron at least. He doesn't trust the Brotherhood, but he does trust Aaron at least. And Riven has become a bit more. He's still on the fence of whether he wants to go full on like brutal, like I don't care. But he does remember Mavra's teaching, so that's slowly coming back. Of like trying to be nice, trying to be polite, not going too far. So he's going from basically toward the edge of chaotic evil. He's basically going back to where he was chaotic neutral and slowly going to chaotic good, is what I like to think of it. At least through the journey of the 6 months to now.
What about Wolfriend? What changes do we see in Wolfriend over the last year, physically, emotionally? What do we see in Wolfriend outside looking at?
Well, overall, not much by way of new changes, but he does very quickly slip into old habits. Living the life of roaming around, helping out or killing whatever needs killing. He does grow a bit more standoffish, and I can never remember names. The place I was just in.
Fallen God?
Fallen. The chill of Fallen God doesn't fully leave him. He's still, no matter where he goes, he stays very bundled up. He's overall a little more solitary, a little shorter with people, just in general, wishing to get essential business done and not much else.
So he's a serial killer. Got it.
Well, not entirely wrong.
But yeah, he's a killer.
Standoffish, keeps to himself, roams around as to not be caught or be in one place for too long, kills things. This sounds like a serial killer, Wolf.
Yeah.
Are we the baddies?
He kinda is, to be honest. That's where he's at right now. At least he doesn't kill completely without reason. Without mercy, most definitely.
We have turned to the evil campaign.
Oh, man. Oh, no, this is good. This is good. I like it.
I mean, again, it's just falling back to what he was doing before Morkala.
Yeah. Morkala was good for Wolfram. Whether Wolfram wants to admit it or not, Morkala was good for Wolfram. It gave him some stability that I think he much needed.
It's less that he doesn't. It's less that he doesn't want to admit it. It's more he doesn't realize it.
Right.
But after a year, even though he's convinced himself that he's more effective on his own, he does miss his friends.
Does that lead him back to El Macath, or?
Not while there's still work to be done, but it's still in the back of his heart.
Okay. Mavra.
Yes.
How has Mavra changed in the past year?
Mavra has developed a new way to channel her rage. So she's not quite as explosive or bullheaded as she used to be, and being around the people of Kozaka taught her a new kind of patience. That being said, she also now has crippling anxiety and suffers from nightmares because she has night terrors over what happened to her family, what happened when the ship exploded and she was cast away from all of her friends, and she's terrified of everything that they faced happening to her friends, so she doesn't really sleep at night. So she's become kind of nocturnal, where she does most of her sleeping during the day and is up at night because she jumps at shadows a little bit. And she's written tons and tons of letters to the Adventurers Guild throughout her journey. And she's, hoping that they've gotten there. There were some individual letters that she wrote specifically to different members, but she wrote some that were just to update them and, to share it with Riven that, she got to see Shiro, and, it's her way of keeping everyone alive because she doesn't know what's happened to them.
Okay. Sadly, Arrow couldn't make it. Gonna hear anything from him, but I think we can assume that Victor has gone from the pompous rich kid just graduating college to a pompous rich kid who just survived a rainforest. I guess my last question for you guys is, as players, what was the, I guess, the most fun part of exploring the lands of Veth'Arden independently? Not only exploring the new lands, but being apart from the main party and the main campaign, as your characters are no longer able to depend on the party that they know and love.
Character drama, oh boy. I think Mavra is the only one who had halfway of a good time. Like, I think we can agree on that, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because Mavra got to see Shiro at the very least.
Yeah, Melva got to meet, an old friend and help people. Like, like all things considered, compared to everyone else, nothing really bad happened to her.
Oh, we
That
can
is
still
true.
change that.
How about we don't? You have traumatized her enough.
I mean, Palath is there.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. We're
Um,
doing the one shot.
Yeah, we're doing a one
That's
shot
true.
now.
Exactly,
Palath-
Palath is done now, so.
Palath has landed in the Feywild.
Oh God, no! No, Pipala.
No, but I mean, other than, I know that it was definitely difficult for a lot of the characters, aside from Mavra. But were there anything that stood out like as exciting or fun about exploring these new lands? Would you guys want to explore them again in the next campaign? Because this campaign is ultimately going to end at some point. Where do you guys want to go next? Because I mean, we kind of seen the full spectrum of places in Veth'Arden.
I mean, cool. I think you know my answer, so.
I don't.
Granheim.
Oh yeah, because you have 7 characters made for Granheim.
Exactly.
They're
Plus, I think it's
related.
cool. Yeah, I think it's cool. Like, it's a cool place. And I love the whole, like,
Yeah, of course you would
place.
love sand when you live in an area where you get drowned 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, Riven
Hey,
is the
hey.
opposite of Anakin.
Hey, I would. Many people would say, like, I would like the rainforest better.
No, I don't know, because the thing is Riven's been making characters for Granheim. Riven or Rocky has been the main driver for me making content for Granheim, because he's constantly asking about things that are over there so he can add them into characters.
That is true.
What about you, Pat?
You don't have to rock
Where
it.
would you like to see the next campaign be based in?
Well, I mean, I know anywhere we go is going to be good. And I really going to make me pick just one? I mean, hell,
No, you don't have to pick just
I
one.
I even kind of feel like there's still more to Nadira that we haven't seen yet.
I mean, definitely.
I don't know.
We could do all encompassing. You guys could just be pirates for the next one, so you have a boat, so you just go wherever you want.
I think a pirate campaign would be fun.
I think a
Pirate
pirate campaign would be fun.
dope.
I do have a character that would work for that.
I think we're doing a pirate campaign next.
I'm gonna be a snake person.
R.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna be a rabbit person. Oh no.
Natural enemies.
Yeah, bunny.
Oh no. Well, guess wolf person, and then we just go all animals.
Actually, that sounds like a really fun dynamic. Let's do it.
That'd be fun. No, that'd be really fun. I guess what are you guys most eager to do getting back into the main campaign?
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Smile.
But like a quirky, kind of like cocky kind of smile.
Smile.
Honestly, I'm just eager to see where the story ends up and what happens to everybody, even like good, bad, otherwise. Like, I'm super interested to see if we actually get to like tie up any of these loose ends, if we're successful at what it is we're trying to do. I'm super excited.
Yeah, same. And then seeing how the characters interact once they meet up again, that'll be cool.
I'm just curious if I turn out into the BVG.
I think here's the thing is I think it'll be good regardless of whether or not you all surmount these insurmountable odds. Because worst case you guys lose, and then the next campaign is built upon the ruins of what's left after your loss, right? Which can be a cool factor to play with.
Final Fantasy VI World of Chaos type beat.
Yeah. And if you guys win, great. Then the world goes on and we move on to the next set of characters with the next threat, right? Ultimately, I think it's going to be shocking when Palath comes back from the Feywild and turns out he is the true incarnation of Kalenroth. But I think we all kind of saw that coming from the beginning.
We did. He's the main character.
Damn, spoilers.
Well, do you guys have any questions for me? Anything about the world that I can answer, or anything that you guys want to wring out of me before we get to the end of this?
I know damn well in about 8 hours I'm gonna think of a real good question.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bound to happen.
Same here. It's just oof. So I'm
You guys have known this has been coming for a week.
Yeah, I know. Well, I do actually have a question, so to speak, when it comes to, let's say, what's John Zor's take on like Riven just falling into like complete despair? Like, was he trying to help him? Was he more of like trying to, like tell him, like basically say like, you can do this, or more of like tough love, you can get past this?
I think Jonzo was more of a kind of like a not an eager supporting figure, but definitely the kind of tough love of, hey, walk it off. You got to move on at some point. At a certain point, he's like, dude, it's been 6 months. They're not coming back. You have to move on. When even
Makes sense,
his
yeah.
information gathering network couldn't find anything, he was kind of at the point of they're no longer around. So I don't think he would be trying to keep that hope alive in Riven. I think he was more of trying to get Riven to move on and hopefully get to this new stage in life where Riven needs to be functioning by himself.
Mm. And the whole information about Mavra's family, would Riven find anything about that in the next month or so, or would it be like kept secret, just like his mother's information about his mother has been, since John Sword doesn't really give the information out towards Riven, even though he asks?
I think if Riven is willing to pay, I think Jonzor could send agents from Vox Tacit out to investigate, and Riven could find out that Mavra's parents are alive. They're in the city of Umbra, currently working there, as the Blightwood is still in the ruins left by the Iron Brand.
Yeah, he is going to this is why he may sell some of the magic items, so we would probably talk a lot more about how much gold he'll get and stuff like that.
Riven's just gonna sell the massively cursed items.
Yep. This is how the second campaign, the big bad, starts. Riven just selling the stupid.
But you might keep the Bloodhawk sword because it has an ability that rogues can use to give themselves advantage on one of their attacks every turn. So that
that's why I need the list.
attack.
Yeah, that's why I need the list, because that way and they're like, okay, this is not useful. Riven will probably not consider that useful. He's gonna sell this. He is gonna keep this type of stuff. He's not gonna sell everything because I think
Right.
there's something people want to use or at least give, like toward Mabra, but yeah, stuff like that.
One person that Johnzor could not get any information on is Kavra. There have been whispers of her working with the Defiant, the Resistance, and the Theocracy, but nothing concrete.
Oh yeah.
That's odd.
Did
Yeah.
Pat just remember there's a Resistance in the Theocracy?
Well, I thought of that like 20 minutes ago, and I'm like, Wolfram would probably at least run into them.
Oh yeah, they operate out of Walden, which is where that crypt is.
He probably wouldn't have too many dealings with them unless he absolutely has to, or circumstances are such that he needs to work with them.
I'll leave it up to you, obviously, but two current members of the Defiant that you might have run into would have been if I can get to my NPCs. Kavra has been working with them, so if you decide that you have run into her, that's really up to you. And then Reyna Valeg is currently working with.
Look at that. Yeah, he'd probably... I don't think he'd be working too close with any of them, but he's definitely met them.
Or
But
any other?
he's still in his I work alone fucking...
I'm Batman.
he's still on that for now.
So what you're saying is Wolfriend is vengeance.
You
He is
could say
Batman.
that. You could say that Wolfriend was born in the dark.
Shaped by it.
Leal says
Well,
this is
okay.
the
You
first
know-
time that he has noticed. The party is kind of giving emo edgelord vibes.
Oh,
I-
you just noticed this?
I know, right? Jeez.
You know, I thought I was gonna be the odd one out in this, in being like just an edgy character, but
No, we.
whoops.
That's basically what we live by. Is we are edgelords.
To be fair, Mavra was a box of bubbles, and then Kuro killed her entire family.
Oh, okay. No, wait a minute. Mavra wasn't a box of bubbles for a long time before I killed her family and didn't
She was
actually
a
kill her family.
Sweet beans.
Mavra slit a dude's throat in cold blood.
She was a sweet bean.
Mavra had a
When you
lot
killed her
of issues going on.
Killed her whole family.
Your family's alive.
She doesn't know that in character. She has no fucking clue her family's alive.
Oh, that sounds like a Mavra issue, not a me issue.
Yeah, Mavra needs to find that out.
You wish. Whose side are you on, Rocky?
Riven's on no one's side.
Riven works
Oh,
alone.
I'll remember that. I'll remember that. Okay.
Yeah, the party is just a group of 5 people who work alone, but they do it in very close proximity to each other.
Hey, they have teamwork
Seriously?
sometimes.
Riven does. Riven honestly does work alone because he's the squishiest son of a bitch. And he's like, frontline.
He's like, hit me
be fair.
first, but don't hit me too hard, please.
I mean, it doesn't help that everything that he tries just ends in a crit nat 1. If it's Iron the Velaro, he's dropping his weapon.
Oh,
on the
I
first
mean,
turn.
there was his wolf, like Pat when he's playing Wolfriend, you get such good rolls, but that did not translate into these one shots at all.
That's because he's using all his power for Wolfriend. It manifests itself, and then the one shot's like, okay, that's
I
enough.
mean,
It just bounces out.
I did fine on the one shots, except for that one time when that 5% chance.
Oh yeah, when you called out a 5% chance of failure at the beginning, and then you failed. What it was? You rolled. How many nat ones did we roll in that one?
A lot.
I think I rolled like 3.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it was bad.
Most
I bet we probably rolled like 21s that night.
most
Like
of
if you
the
took everybody,
we need to count how many nat ones happened.
7 nat ones that I can see.
Jeez, 5% chance, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think that math is mathing. At least not in like physicality here.
he said he could do math. Didn't say he was good at it.
Oh man. Oh, it's good. And we won't be. When is our next session? It won't be next week. The week after. When are you being gone for the cruise?
I won't be on for the next 2 weeks.
All right.
I will be traveling the 19th, gone the 26th, so I won't be back till the 2nd.
Okay, so our next session is going to be 2nd of November.
Nope.
Which I think we're all looking forward to here. We are not going to have any stream going on next Saturday. It was just going to be nice to have a little bit of a break for everybody. But I'll let you guys know for the week after if Uzmir or Sen might just miss out on the Palath one.
It happens.
I gotta plan that out, so good. I am looking forward to seeing the finalized character art for everybody after this 1 year. I know Sen has been working away at trying to nail down how Uzmir's gonna look. Wolfriend won't have too much of a change, right, Pat?
Not immediately.
Not immediately. So, and Riven, Rocket, did you settle if you were going to keep the art that you used in the one shot, or are you gonna revamp it for the next 6 months that passed?
Revamping. Yeah, I'm currently working on it.
And then, Mama, I know that I made that art for you with the kimono. Are you wanting to keep that, or are you wanting to keep working stuff?
I draft up a few more things.
Thanks everybody who did pop in, and thank you. But we will go ahead and end it here at almost exactly 2 hours. Thanks everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you in 2 weeks for something. Probably the Palath one shot, and we'll see what those little critters are getting up to in the Feywild. And we'll see if Palath makes it out alive. Bum bum bum. Night everybody.
All right.
Any